my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, it is your feel-good breakfast show. It's Expresso. We're live here on S3 on a beautiful Monday morning. Thank you very much for choosing to start the week off on the right side. Now, the strength of your family, and that's what we're talking about today. The strength of your family really does depend on how you create those special moments together. And this morning on Family Day, we're taking a look at how we can do that and continue to cultivate that by talking to motivational speaker Ricardo Gressel, also known as WarriorRic, one of our favorites here, about how the family unit can better come together every single day of the year. WarriorRic, it's so good to see you in the flesh.
Tubby, so it is such a pleasure to be here. It's Family Day, and we family.
And we're family.
We're family.
And we're getting to connect this way.
Absolutely.
How did you spend your Easter weekend?
Well, it's coming down to Cape Town. It's enjoying the Two Oceans race. So I got my 21 on, so I got my half marathon, personal best.
Oh, yeah?
Personal best.
Boom, baby, put it here. Yes, love to hear it.
My wife on her Ultra, some wheels came off, but that woman, I do this because of her. So I'm just following
fantastic.
her. So it was a wonderful 2 days of oceans and just being in the sea breeze. It was lovely. And now it's time to just kick our feet up,
and enjoy. It is that time. And I think what you have been able to do between yourself and your wife is that you've been able to find those meaningful moments. You create them in different ways. Sometimes it's chilling by the beach, but other times you guys are really stretching yourselves on a physical level. Let's talk about how everybody else out there can really find those meaningful moments to create connection. How can families tap into that?
Well, I think you said it, to be. So when you think about meaning, we talk about moments, right? So moments are holidays, they're celebrations, and it can kind of hit you in the face. Oh, Dad's birthday's coming up, or we have this bar mitzvah coming up. But the point is you got to plan for these celebrations. You have to get your mind ready for them by actually putting a calendar together. So it's not just about moments, it's about the meaning in the moments. Correct.
Ooh,
so you have to go deep. You got to go deep and recognize why you do it. People, this is Easter weekend, but not everyone celebrates the religious holiday, but it's still a long weekend. It's an opportunity for people to enjoy it. But find the meaning for you in it. As diverse as we are, find the special meaning for you in the moment.
Within the sort of traditional family unit and, environment, parents do often take on the responsibility of creating those meaningful family moments. And that's not to say that those are only exclusively left as a responsibility of the parent, but maybe let's give the parents, if they were watching right now and thinking, what can I do to really create some interesting moments today for the family? What are some of the ideas?
I think, look, if it's all about time, so you've got to manage time. So I like to put it into 3 unique areas. So there's the grind. We know about the grind. It's Monday to Friday, typically it's 9 to 5. The grind you have to do. And then there is the kind. The kind of the special moments that you do with your kids. Maybe it's storytelling, maybe it's taking them to a movie, cinema, going for a walk in the park, take the dog with you. That's the kind. And then you get the mind. That's what I was telling you about.
The grind, the kind, and the mind.
And the mind. This is mine.
Oh, man.
So
I love it.
Right now, I'm in the mind time with my wife. So the kids are at home. This is our time. We plan for this. Now, you only get that 2, 3, if you're lucky, 4 times a year, the mind. But it's because of the grind. Because you got to afford the holiday. You got to be able to put the money together. But the kind says you keeping the grind in check. So that kind is very critical because that time you spend with your kids, they'll always remember it.
Okay, so now that's the parents. Mom and dad are very important in creating the family's sort of kind and mind environment, as it were, right? And so that means that it starts with the relationship between the parents. How important really is that connection and the relationship between the 2 parents in making sure that it feeds down to the rest of the family?
It's critical, Tubby. So, I mean, I've tried to convince my wife that, like on the flights where the flight attendant says, if we're going down in the, unlikelihood of an emergency, put your mask on first. But moms have this thing of always just trying to help everybody else before they help themselves. So the relationship with the spouse or partner is so critical to make sure that you look after yourself first. If you look after yourself first, then guess what? The rest is easy.
Yeah.
But put yourself first, then your spouse, and then your children. I'm still trying to get my wife to agree with me on that one, but we'll get there.
It's all about the grind, the kind, and the mind. And we're delving into that conversation with WarriorRic here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, inspiring us all to really tap into that goodness of the family on Family Day. And he's still here, and more with him in just a bit.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso. We're continuing our conversation this morning with motivational speaker Ricardo Gressel, otherwise known as WarriorRic, about the importance of creating special moments with your family. It's the grind, it's the kind, it's the mind. It's not just Family Day that connects everyone. Those moments do come through in many other ways. And you know a lot about families because you were just telling me now, at your big age, which I won't mention on here.
You can mention it, I don't mind.
You're 57 years old.
57 years old, yeah.
You have 4 children.
Yeah.
2 grandchildren.
2 grandchildren. And we've raised 12 children from babies. We have 40 to 3 years old and everything in between.
And you were saying now that you live with your family. So like your 4 children and your grandchildren, you all live together.
We all
it
live
really
together.
is like keeping up with the Kardashians in the sense that you are all under one roof. Or the,
Correct.
or the moon summies. So you know a lot about creating those moments.
Sure.
Using dinner time or meal time for that as an example. How can we use those moments like dinner time where everyone's sitting around the table or has the opportunity to sit around the table to create those moments?
Well, who's sitting around the table, these days, Tabi? So even interior decorators know the dining room isn't the place to bring the family together.
Oh.
So now it's really about, doing away with the TV trays and the dining rooms and start thinking about spaces where you can engage. And we talked about in the first segment about getting out, going to the park.
Yeah.
The best meetings happen where it's not necessarily around food. So food is a wonderful way to bring us together.
Okay.
But you can't talk with food in your mouth.
No, you can't.
So you got to get out there and be free and open. Some of the best conversations happen when you're caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
You're caught up in something exciting and whatever, and then you get to hear the truth, which is lovely, especially from children, because they can say the darndest things, but especially when they're in their element.
But it's honest when it comes
It's
to it in
honest,
that
man.
way. Family traditions play such a big role in connecting families and family members. We all look forward to those. I mean, if you think about Easter, for example, which we've just come from, everyone pre-Easter was talking about and looking forward to how they're going to be spending their Easter lunch, because that's a tradition for their families, maybe. How important are those in cultivating that space? And what are some of the ideas maybe where parents who don't know how to do this can already start looking to for creating those opportunities for themselves?
Well, we know with culture that it's about food, it's about music, it's about dance, and we need to celebrate that in our own unique way.
Yeah.
Every family is unique.
Yes.
But I think it's about not being shy about it, but just really being, you talked about the Munsamis versus the Kardashians, right?
Yes.
So 2 very different families. They celebrate this time very differently.
Yeah.
But to be able to welcome that diversity and value it, invite friends, invite neighbors over to show how you do it. Your children then get to see that we're unique.
We're doing it differently.
We're doing differently,
And
and
they're
it's
doing
something
their
to
own thing, and
celebrate.
it's fine, it's perfect.
Absolutely. But celebrate the moments like we talked about in your unique way with food, with music, with dance, and have a good time. Laugh about it.
Yes.
And laugh at yourself. Why not? Because you know what? There's always the drunk uncle or the person that slips up and you've got these photo albums to show.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
Yes.
Have that experience and share it with each other.
We don't forget that, because I know that for my family, dancing is a big part of it.
Oh, man.
Dancing and singing. I mean, any family gathering, we will find an opportunity to do that. It's funny that we are able to laugh at ourselves because I'm always the dance choreographer. And anyone who knows me and watches me on the show knows I know nothing about dancing or singing, but that doesn't stop me from doing it, right?
Absolutely.
But we all come together and look forward to that, and we do it. You, before I let you go, Mr. WarriorRic, have been working so hard on this very personal project of yours, which is all about creating and highlighting family dynamics.
Yeah.
You created the pilot. It's done. Tell us all about it.
So excited. It's called 24-Hour Rick. And it's like Mission Impossible, right? So every family has got crazy dynamics.
Yes.
There's lots of issues, challenges around finances, around all different types of things. So I get my brief as I enter the home to try to solve the problem.
Like
solve
that
the issue.
nanny show where the nanny would get called to come help the family with...
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And so I go in and find out what the issue is, speak to the children, speak to the parents, speak to the auntie, and come up with a solution by staying overnight at the house. So I get to socialize, sing, dance, and party with them. And then once we get to the morning morning breakfast time,
breakdown.
I come with a resolution. So it's conflict resolution with Warrior Ric. It's called 24-hour Ric. So.
24-hour Ric, check it out. Please do follow WarriorRic on all of his social media platforms. What a guy, what a legend, and we really do enjoy having these conversations with you. And thank you very much for inspiring our families this morning on how we can do Family Day and do family better and more exciting. Put it here, man.
Thanks,
Warrior
so.
Ric, boom, baby, yeah.